leverage the bonuses of the civilization. With that, we do have a French mirror with GiveUAnxiety being on the north in blue, and down south it is Deemonsheep playing as red. So, looking at the maps real quick over here, we do have a gold mine at the back for Deemonsheep. That's pretty nice to work with. Also, the wood at the back is pretty helpful. Both hunts on the right side of Deemonsheep's base. Whereas for GUA, his hunt is a little bit more spread out, one on the right and one on the north. And we also do have a front gold mine for him. He's got a back gold mine as well, but that's pretty far away. So I would say that Deemonsheep probably has a slightly better map.
And I would agree with you.
Okay, so...
Especially with the
good.
backhand. Especially with the backhand.
So, are we just going to see the super standard nightmares over here, something that we have seen a lot of times, or do you think either of these players will try to spice things up a tiny bit, come out with something surprising?
I think the best thing would be to go professional scouts for both players, contest the scouts, and then make knights, which is something that we might see. But I expect Deemonsheep to not go professional scouts and put pressure with knights really, really early.
If GiveUAnxiety wins this game, then the Americas move to 2-0 overlord scoreline, which means that they will be in the finals against the winner of Europe versus Oceania. That is a set that's coming up after this one. As you said before, it's super standard opening over here. Just 2 or 3 villagers on gold, and the rest of them being sent to food. A quite early lumber camp here for Deemonsheep, though, and this is what we have been seeing a lot of times with the French mirrors. Some player might go for a lumber camp, and that's an indication of a stable being added early alongside the School of Cavalry, right?
Most of them, yes. It would also mean an early wheelbarrow or like an extra food upgrade. I think you should delay the storehouse. You don't really need the lumber camp storehouse, but then again, you can just make it and leave one villager there so that you have a setup, the production already, like the gathering point, so that you don't have to build it later.
Now, here's the question. Oftentimes in French mirrors, the safest way to stay alive and just make sure you're not losing your villagers on food is to ferry in deer. In fact, you were one of the first people that used it in Aegis Genesis. Just open 1 or 2 scouts with the School of Cavalry and ferry in deer. Do you think it's still a legitimate approach after seeing 1 month of gameplay and sort of the meta evolving? Just open scouts, sacrifice 1 or 2 early knights, and just bring in the hunt for some safety?
It's the only way. The best way, at least. Because let's say both players are making knights. If you make a knight, it will take some time to train and some time to arrive in my base. So when the first knight arrives in my base, I will also have a knight, but I will also have 1 or 2 extra scouts that will bring me safe food. You, on the other hand, you will run out of sheep, and you will either have to go to berries or somewhere else. So I already have an advantage. I'm playing safe, I'm playing in my base, and I'm getting more resources out of you. So I do think that this is like the best way to play this matchup.
Looks like GiveUAnxiety will be slightly faster to Feudal Age. He pulled 5 villas on that School of Cavalry. Only 4 villagers for Deemonsheep, so he'll be a couple of seconds late. And as expected, there is the Professional Scouts upgrade for the French. And we probably expect Scouts to come out here for GiveUAnxiety in a moment. Deemonsheep also up to Feudal Age, and he is opening with a Knight here, so you said it's the only way to play French mirrors. Deemonsheep wants to protest, because he's gonna be the one that goes for Knight immediately. Drops a mill now, so Professional Scouts is still an option, but he's going to be the one opening with a Knight instead of a Scout.
Yep, and Anxiety is going for the Scouts, and he's not gathering gold with many villagers, which kinda tells me that he's gonna be making a barrack.
And you are absolutely right, there's the barracks. A combination of knights and spearmen will just beat pure knights, and it will force Deemonsheep to add something like his own spearmen or archers as well early on. Looks like Deemonsheep's knight is halfway in between the two players, so there's definitely enough time for GiveUAnxiety to get a couple of spearmen out if he wants to. Still no professional scouts though for Deemonsheep, so looks like he's just playing 4 knights over here, and that's basically it.
I think it has to do with the ship. I think he got a lot of ship and he felt comfortable doing this. Yeah, but I think it's gonna be late. By the time his ship run out, I don't think there will be any hunts left on the map for him to get.
Looks like spearmen are out. No hardened upgrade on them just yet. GiveUAnxiety seems to be playing quite defensive over here, but when you're ferrying in there, you can afford to do that because you're gonna have a great hunt. Here comes the first night charge, but won't be able to pick off a villager here.
Just look how safe Anxiety's base is. Like, even if you have 10 knights, there's not that many things for you to harass, apart from the wood line, and there are spears there. And if you check on the other side, look at Deemonsheep's base. It's so open. You have the berries, harassable, gold, harassable, wood, harassable. Luckily, Anxiety is not making knights.
He's just going for a full spearman defense. Very nice fight here for Deemonsheep. He killed 2 spearmen, and he did not lose a single knight. Chivalry upgrade probably coming in soon to heal up those damaged knights. But as we discussed, the fact that GiveUAnxiety has the professional scouts in and he's ferrying in there is going to give him an economy advantage, so he can just afford to play defensive here.
And this is something that we rarely see. Spear and archers in a friend's mirror.
It's an interesting idea. If you think about it, the spears will make it much more difficult for those knights to engage, and the spearmen have been buffed in the recent patch, so they're much more efficient against the knights than in the early days of Age of Empires 4. Plus, of course...
I would agree with you if it was on another map, but check the woodlines. Like, the build that GiveUAnxiety is choosing is really wood heavy, and this is one of the maps with the least amount of wood inside of your base.
I totally agree with that. The thing is that this is not really sustainable for GiveUAnxiety. He will need something different from this one, but currently he doesn't have control over his gold mine, so there are some issues over here for GUA, especially if you consider that Deemonsheep's resources aren't looking bad. He already has 600 food in the bank and 300 gold, so pretty much halfway ready to go up into Castle Age.
Yep, and Anxiety is gathering wood from straggler trees, which is not that efficient.
And there's a blacksmith coming in here for GUA. Considering that GiveUAnxiety is very heavy on the archer and spearman department, and considering how he played the previous game, can you envision a ram push here in Feudal Age from him?
Yep. I'm pretty sure that's something that we should expect. Judging from the way he's playing right now, he doesn't stop making units. He's trying to defend any kind of raids, and as soon as he feels comfortable in moving out with a big group of units, he will go straight for his opponent's throat. And judging from the resources of Deemonsheep, I'm suspecting that at some point he will stop making knights and he will try to go into the castle age.
He went for a second stable, and he even went out to take the hunt. Since he has map control, he can do that. And you see, GiveUAnxiety is trying to move out of his base, but the moment he moves out, his gold miners could be exposed, and just one charge could kill 1 or 2 villagers over here. A nice brace from GiveUAnxiety. That should be able to force the knights back for the time being.
I would love to see a tower there. Just keep the build that GiveUAnxiety is choosing is really low on gold, so you can keep 5 villagers on gold and make a watchtower there, and they will be safe.
GiveUAnxiety was not mining gold for a long time, which means that he didn't have the gold for infantry siege, and now, as he was making walls, some knights arrive, and that's the first villager casualty of the game. Looks like knights are getting cleaned up, but also raid coming in on the north, and the spearmen are a little behind here for GiveUAnxiety. A couple of archers will go down, and those raids are starting to have its toll on GiveUAnxiety here. Walls are up on the front, in front of GiveUA's base, so now there will be limited angles for Deemonsheep to push, and it looks like GiveUAnxiety will just go full walls here and say, okay, I have had enough of raiding. But I feel like Deemonsheep at this point is going to have all the map control in the world, so he is going to be able to potentially pick up relics as he charges in with the knights again, and he is going to have the chance to just take the hunt without the professional scouts even.
Yep. I would prefer if GiveUAnxiety played the French mirror as it's supposed to be played. Just start with professional scouts so that your opponent cannot properly raid your foot, and then make knights in order to be able to raid your opponent's foot.
Notice the scout on top of the hill for Deemonsheep. It looks absolutely amazing overlooking that entire valley, so he knows exactly what GiveUAnxiety is doing, and using multiple angles of attack for Deemonsheep here, he can raid GiveUAnxiety very efficiently. Deemonsheep is at 42 villagers, GiveUA is sitting at 38, but Deemonsheep is getting ready to go into Castle Age here.
He stopped the production and he's 8-jumping. And that's going to be such a key move, because GiveUAnxiety just walled his base. His army is not big enough in order to put pressure, and that will give time for Deemonsheep to get a really good Castle Age timing and get those upgrades for his knights. And then knights can win spears, even if they are direct counter. Heavy knights will win spears if the spear numbers are low.
Especially because the French do get a bonus damage after a successful charge, so they can do a lot of damage at the beginning. Another charge coming in from the Knights. These are still Feudal Age Knights, and it looks like Deemonsheep is a little impatient. Takes this fight, and it's worth it. Killing all the Spearmen and the Archers. Also, a lot of villagers go down close to the town center. This might be even enough here without Castle Age, because he's killing so much from GiveUAnxiety.
The reason is because of archers. I don't understand why Anxiety keeps making archers. Your opponent is not making spearmans, he's only making knights, and archers do no damage on knights.
Castle Age coming in with the Guild Hall for Deemonsheep, and he's dropping multiple barracks, so looks like he's switching into the French men-at-arms. Against archers and spearmen, that's going to work perfectly, and the thing is that Deemonsheep will not face crossbows for a long time, since GiveUAnxiety is very far from Castle Age.
Yep. Right now, Deemonsheep is reacting properly to what GiveUAnxiety is doing. And finally, GiveUAnxiety is doing a raid in the bottom right corner.
That's a very efficient raid, if you think about that. GiveUA was behind like 8 villas or so. Picking off 2 or 3 villagers over here is massive value. So, these free units here actually deliver a huge amount of damage for their investment. So, GiveUAnxiety has to be happy with this one. He's at 39 villagers, Deemonsheep is at 42. You see, all the damage that was done to GiveUA pretty much rendered non-existent with those units raiding our red player.
And this is a classic GiveUAnxiety move. He sees that his opponent just goes into the Castle Age, and he panics and moves all of his army towards his opponent, because he knows, like, he doesn't have a lot of time in order to do something. That's why he's just sent all of his army forward. But I don't think it's enough. It's nowhere near enough.
It's veteran Royal Knights now, indeed. And the bigger deal is the men-at-arms. Even just 3 or 4 men-at-arms here will be so impactful. And as you said, GiveUAnxiety is sending everything forward, so if he takes a bad fight here, he will be without an army, and his opponent can start pushing him immediately. Nice stun over there by the Spearman, getting quite a lot of free hits on those knights, so Deemonsheep needs those men-at-arms on the battlefield pretty soon, but as we discussed before, the army for GiveUAnxiety currently is just very underwhelming compared to what Deemonsheep has.
Yep, and the food is running out for Anxiety, and he's gonna go to berries.
Berries will work short term, of course, but he can deplete those berries really fast, so at some point he's gonna have to transition to farming. Another fight in the middle. Once again, the knights fighting the spearmen, not something that you really like to see, but finally the men-at-arms join the battle, and that's where the battle is going to start swinging in the favor of our red player. Those men-at-arms are gonna be extremely difficult to kill with just feudal age archers and spearmen.
Look at them tank.
Yep. And the thing is that even if they slowly get killed by all those archers and spearmen, the cost efficiency isn't really there for GiveUAnxiety. He's just losing so much value here, and you see the flood of men-at-arms is just never ending. There is reinforcements coming all across the map. Another raid though by GiveUAnxiety, and Deemonsheep hasn't been paying attention to this one. This could backfire really badly because Deemonsheep is losing a lot of villagers to this.
This can be huge. If he doesn't pay attention and somehow GiveUAnxiety holds the push, then suddenly Deemonsheep will be in such a low number of kills. He does have the guild hold though, which kinda
He does
helps.
have the guild hall, but that's going to be a concerning amount of villagers getting killed. It was at least 8 by now, and there's no sign of Deemonsheep reacting to this. He might lose his entire economy there to just one single night.
Actually, GiveUAnxiety right now is 12 villagers ahead, while Anxiety was 7 villagers behind.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the thing is that GiveUAnxiety was like 90% sure to lose this game 2 minutes ago. He doesn't have the army composition, he's still feudal age, but he's killing the entire eco of his opponent with a single knight.
The knight is taking a break though, he had enough of killing villagers, he will now burn down a mill.
I mean, if he kills more villagers there, this channel is gonna get banned from Twitch for that.
Okay, he's back into action, he finished his tea.
He's like, okay, one villager, a couple of torches, one villager, a couple of torches, and Deemonsheep still hasn't realized what's going on. And now he's down to 35 villagers, GiveUAnxiety is at 50, and that's exactly what GUA needs, because a that much better economy will allow him to catch up in Castle Age timing. Knight is back, Deemonsheep still apparently AFK or unplugged his keyboard or something like that.
I think GiveUAnxiety just won the game. Actually, that knight won the game.
Yep. Finally a reaction from Deemonsheep, but this one knight, he's gonna get a lot of medals out here because he's the hero. That was at least 15-20 villagers killed, and that is what allows GiveUAnxiety to have a 16 villagers lead right now.
It was actually 15, it was close to 22 villagers.
Ridiculous. That's just...
Yeah,
like,
insane.
If I was playing this game and I don't notice that and I just rewatch the recorded game, I would be so angry. I'm like, dude, how did I not spot that? Now, some credit to Deemonsheep though, it's sometimes difficult to spot those attacks because you micro your force in the middle and you're getting attack notifications, but the attack notifications could come from the middle and you might not even notice that you're getting raided. The knight is not done, he's coming for the wood line, by the way. Although, now the villagers repairing the gate could get slaughtered by these men-at-arms, so Deemonsheep is coming in here to retaliate.
Oh my god, don't lose that knight. This knight must go to the corner of the map, survive, and then he will become the king.
Oh yeah, poor guy went down. Can we get some Fs in the chat for that guy? The hero, the only hero, gave his life for a couple more villager kills. That's quite a lot of men-at-arms though, and now GiveUAnxiety is the one on the butcher block. GiveUAnxiety currently has an army of 28, but most of that is spearmen against the men-at-arms, so as much as that raid was massive, he's himself is down to 44 villagers, and if these villagers go down, the villager count will be dead even.
It's all about the men-at-arms. If these men-at-arms die somehow, GiveUAnxiety will probably win the game.
The problem is, how do you kill those men-at-arms? Because there's just no army right now for GUA. He's still feudal age, and he doesn't even have economy right now. 17 units garrisoned in TC, 11 vills, bunch of idols. GiveUAnxiety currently has 19 idols out of 41 villagers.
Actually, yeah, GiveUAnxiety probably lost a lot of vills as well. We didn't check it. He had 50 the last time I checked, and that was 1 minute ago.
Yeah, in fact, now it's 40 villagers for Deemonsheep, 41 for GiveUAnxiety, and Deemonsheep is picking up relics, and he has the Sacred Site. He captured it around 18 minutes, so at 28 minutes, this game is won by him at latest, if GiveUAnxiety doesn't neutralize that. Now Deemonsheep will see all those foragers on the left side, and he could just send one knight in there to start killing it. Men-at-arm numbers are slowly being ground down, and the revooling is completed by GiveUAnxiety, but Deemonsheep survived that disaster of losing all those gold miners because he killed a lot from GiveUAnxiety as well. Deemonsheep is mining stone heavily. He will probably just go for a keep in the middle, and he might actually just play for the sacred site control.
Yep.
Man at
I
Arms.
think that will be his plan. If he is not able to win the game, and I see that he's like, I think he might stop trying to win the game with men at arms, and he will invest into the middle.
Quite a lot of men-at-arms coming in here. Royal Knights are good against men-at-arms, but it's Castle Age units versus Feudal Age, so Deemonsheep can probably afford to take this fight. And for GiveUAnxiety, he kind of needs to, because most of his food economy is on the left side on the berries. Deemonsheep has the stone for the keep, but he's not pulling it up just yet. He's sitting on 2 relics and the guild hole as well, that's set on food actually, not on gold.
It's the food. The transition into food is, it's hard for the French. I think the first couple of clicks should be on food and then into gold. Especially since he's investing into the sacred side and the relics, so he will have that passive gold income from there.
Absolutely. Now those man-at-arms are going to start contesting GiveUAnxiety's food economy, and there is the keep in the middle. As I said, around 28 minutes, GiveUAnxiety will lose this game to the sacred side, so clock is ticking, but he's going to be on the way to Castle Age in a moment, and against all those men-at-arms and knights, the Arbaletier will perform pretty well.
Yep. The real question is, will he be able to capture the sacred side? GiveUAnxiety.
I feel like he has one chance, so it has to be one push. Be patient as much as possible, don't panic. As I said, you still have about 7-ish minutes. I think you need to spend at least 5 minutes preparing for that push, because you can't afford to have a weak push that stalls out or gets cleaned up. You don't have another chance to rebuild that, so you have to maximize the amount of units, have one push, sort of all in, and try to take that sacred site. If it fails, you're gonna lose the game, but you will have to maximize your chances by building up as much army as you can before pushing.
And it's going to be hard. If you check the income per minute for both players, Deemonsheep is far ahead.
He is far ahead, especially on the food department. That is actually pretty massive. He's got a lot of farming eco set up. Also has 2 relics and the third one that's not garrisoned. So his economy is much, much better. And GiveUAnxiety is up to Castle Age, but he's now facing a lot of men-at-arms to fight against. He's just nowhere close from counterattacking this one. Deemonsheep coming in with the men-at-arms. GiveUAnxiety is doing a pretty decent job intercepting the reinforcements, but he's on a timer. He needs to secure that sacred site, especially because Deemonsheep can afford a second keep right next to that in a moment. Looks like we are not seeing any men-at-arms coming in. From GiveUAnxiety, it is only Arbaletier. That is his only choice, right?
Yes, the only thing he can make right now and make it work is the crossbowman, the French crossbowman. But it's going to be hard. It's going to be really, really hard.
With that being said, the thing is that Deemonsheep is still applying pressure to these walls, and that's actually helpful, because it forces GiveUAnxiety to defend, potentially take fights, and he just can't mass his army to push the middle, so Deemonsheep's attacks right now sort of act as a diversion. If you move your army to the middle to secure the sacred site, Deemonsheep will run in with the men-at-arms and start burning down your landmarks.
Fourth relic coming for Deemonsheep. His gold income will explode.
Absolutely. He actually has a second monastery, which is a little weird, because according to UI, you should be able to garrison more relics than 3 in a monastery, but might just be an outdated UI.
I'm pretty sure you can garrison up to 20.
Yeah, this is what the user interface says as well. The Ragnitz Cathedral and the Abbey of the Trinity are unique. You can't garrison more than 3 into those. But to a standard monastery, unless they change something that I don't know of, they should be able to garrison 20 relics, so why make a second monastery is a little weird.
Maybe he doesn't know.
It's a possibility. GiveUAnxiety is moving out for that boar on the left side. You see, he's trying to get every bit of food on the map without needing to add farms. He simply doesn't have time for farms. He's got about 3 minutes to secure the middle, but good luck doing that. There's gonna be spring golden placements on both of those keeps. No boiling oil tech yet for him, but we already got stables right next to those keeps as well that will benefit from the production discount.
Imagine if Deemonsheep predicted how the game would go and he put his guild hall on stone. So he suddenly takes out 3,000 stone and places like 3 extra keeps in the middle.
That would have been brutal. In fact, I think Deemonsheep needs to pull those resources out right now. Like, he's playing for a Sacred Site victory. There is no point keeping those resources in anymore. You want to get as many resources as you have. Right now, there's 3 minutes until the Sacred Site victory, so the benchmark time is 28:50. So you want to pull those resources out and make army with them. If you pull them out too late, you won't have the time to make army from those resources.
I'm really curious how GiveUAnxiety is going to approach this. He knows that he's behind. Maybe he thinks he's done... Actually, he knows that he's done a lot of damage on those villagers, but the guild hall plus the relics from the monastery, plus the relics, it's such a huge economic boost for Deemonsheep, and he's able to recover from all that damage.
Exactly. The guild hall was alive for a longer time as well for Deemonsheep, so he has gotten that bonus for a long time, whereas GiveUAnxiety just finished it. GUA is very heavy on the stone, which makes me wonder if he wants to drop a keep himself, sort of just neutralize this position. Obviously, he won't be able to destroy everything here. The idea for him would be to just push Deemonsheep out of that sacred site for just a minute. 2 minutes remaining.
I think he wants to rush with the villagers and make a keep next to the sacred site. I think that's his plan. I don't see him arriving on time.
Yeah, he soon needs to move out. The problem is that his army numbers are still not amazing, and the Arbaletier is a great unit against the knights here, but the castles will quickly kill them, and there's boiling oil coming in. And the thing is that that sacred site is right next to the keep, so if you're not cautious, you can just move into the boiling oil while you're taking that sacred site. Man-at-Arms now coming in. They will delay those rams. This might be just enough here for Deemonsheep, because there is 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining, and I think Deemonsheep might even be able to win this fight by itself. Looks like the Spearman will fight the Knights over here. Not the best fight ever for Deemonsheep. He's fighting against the Arbaletier with the Man-at-Arms, but it's pure numbers. And the biggest thing here is that GiveUAnxiety has 1 minute to push that sacred site with basically no army. He's down to 6 army only. 69 population is nice. The army count, not so much. And with that, GiveUAnxiety taps out. It looked very, very good for GiveUAnxiety for some time, with all those villagers getting killed from Deemonsheep, but then GUA was just never really able to capitalize on that, and he fell to the Man-at-Arms. If you look at the villager count, it is pretty evident where Deemonsheep lost those villagers, but if you look at it, in 5 minutes of time, Deemonsheep killed pretty much the same amount of villagers from his opponent with those Men-at-Arms. Looking at the economy numbers right now, 7,000 extra gold for Deemonsheep. As you said, that relic gold income is massive, and that really showed over here.